Anelle and Jihoon, Part 45. Anelle had started preparing for the wedding as most of the fittings were done before. The late evening breeze drifted through the open terrace doors of Anelle's room. Her wedding dresses were still zipped in their garment bags, hanging beside the mirror like dreams not yet unwrapped. Zola sat on the couch, her head wrap already loosened, a cup of ginger tea warming her hands. Anelle curled beside her, barefoot, her robe trailing slightly on the floor. The air between them buzzed with unspoken emotion. "Mama Zola," Anelle whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "Yes, baby." Anelle looked down at her fingers. "I'm scared." Zola set her cup down gently. "Of the wedding?" "No," Anelle said. "Of becoming someone's wife. Of waking up every day and trying to be enough. Of giving all of myself and not losing who I was before I found him." Zola nodded slowly, the weight of her years folding into her gaze. "That fear," she said, "means your love is real, because only the brave fear giving too much." Anelle blinked quickly. "You were brave, with Mama, with your own life. You stood tall." Zola smiled faintly. "I stood because I had to, but you're choosing to. That's a different kind of strength." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Anelle spoke again. "Sometimes I feel her. My mom. I think she would have loved him." Zola placed her hand over Anelle's. "She sees everything. And I believe if she could speak right now, she'd say thank you for loving loudly, for surviving." Anelle swallowed a lump in her throat. "Did you ever think we'd be here? From that cramped flat in Johannesburg to this estate, planning a wedding with fabric names I can't even pronounce?" Zola chuckled. "Never. But I always believed something greater was chasing you." Then Zola turned serious, her voice dipping into something deep and spiritual. "Anelle, marriage isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Show up. For yourself. For him. For the child who carries your breath." Anelle's eyes filled with tears. "What if I get it wrong?" "You will," Zola said gently. "And then you'll get it right again. That's love." Anelle leaned into her, wrapping her arms around the woman who had become her safe place since the world fell apart. Outside, the stars blinked softly. Inside, Anelle whispered, "Thank you for raising me twice, once as a girl, and now as a woman." Zola kissed the top of her head, tears falling soundlessly. "My honor, child, my joy." As the wind had softened by the time Jihoon stepped onto the terrace of the Han estate, his newborn son cradled against his chest, wrapped in the same cream blanket that had welcomed him into the world. The night was still, as if the country held its breath with him. Inside, Anelle rested, her body worn, but her spirit unwavering. Jihoon stared at the stars, gently rocking Dejin. "You have no idea what you've done already," he whispered to his son. "You've shifted a kingdom just by breathing." His phone buzzed, but he didn't move. Then Zola appeared at the door. "Jihoon," she said gently, "it's the palace. They need to speak to you." Back inside, Jihoon took the call on speaker. It was the prince. "I just finished speaking with the council." His voice was calm but heavy. Jihoon closed his eyes. "And the queen?" "She will stand trial," the prince confirmed. "It will be a public hearing. Transparent. I made that promise, but you and Anelle will not attend. I want you to protect your peace, your son." As that call ended, another came in, but this time it was different. KBS, the national broadcaster, had reached out. A live interview. Not scandal, not politics. An invitation to share their love story. "We can say no," Jihoon said cautiously. But Anelle surprised him. "Let's do it." He kissed her knuckles gently. "Then we do it together." A week later, KBS Broadcasting Studio. The lights were soft, the set designed with elegance, cream walls, subtle orchids, and golden frames showing photographs of Jihoon and Anelle over the months. At the park, the rooftop, cradling Dejin. Jihoon held her hand firmly as they sat close, unshaken by the camera's presence. "What has this journey taught you both?" the host asked. Jihoon looked to Anella, then answered, "That love is not a scandal. It's survival. It's choosing each other over fear." "And you, Anelle?" She smiled, her voice soft. "That healing takes time. But when love is safe, when it's seen, it blooms." The host leaned forward. "And now the question on everyone's lips. When is the big day?" Jihoon looked to Anelle, and with a quiet nod, he turned to the camera. "Our wedding," he said, "will be held next month on the 22nd. Applause rippled through the studio. The live broadcast cut to viewers across the nation, cafes, homes, even bus stops, where people paused, some teary-eyed, some smiling. And in the quiet corners of Seoul, candles were lit again, not in protest, but in celebration. Meanwhile in Munich, Taiho and Nihal had advanced their love and had spent time together leaning about each other. The kettle hissed faintly on the stove. The table, though small, was set with quiet care. 2 cups, toasted bread, a jar of honey, and a bowl of olives she'd bought the night before. Taiho sat across from her, elbows resting lightly, eyes only on her. He hadn't touched the tea yet, neither had she. Nihal's fingers trembled slightly as she reached for the spoon. Her voice, when it finally came, was low but clear. "Can I ask you something real?" Taiho nodded. She hesitated, then laid the words bare. "Would you ever love a woman like me? Completely? With my faith, my beliefs, my roots, my stubborn ways?" He didn't flinch, didn't smile to ease the tension. He leaned forward, hands clasped, gaze steady. "I already do," he said quietly. "But," she struggled, "I pray 5 times a day. I fast. I cover my body. I believe in the unseen. You don't." "I know," Taiho replied. "And that doesn't scare you?" "No," he said, "because love isn't an agreement. It's devotion. And I can be devoted to you even if I don't always understand the things you kneel for. Because I see you kneeling. I see what it does to you. It humbles you. It gives you strength. And I love anything that gives you strength." Nihal blinked once, then twice. Her breath hitched in her throat, and suddenly she was no longer in her chair. She dropped to her knees on the floor beside him, tears pouring without apology. "You can't be real," she wept. "Taiho, this worried me the most." Taiho got up without a word, stepped around the table, and knelt beside her. Gently he wrapped his arms around her trembling body, pulling her against his chest. "I am real," he whispered, "ever since the day I saw you wiping down that cafe counter, staring out the window like the world couldn't hold all that was in your heart. I knew. You carry something rare." "I'm not easy," she sobbed. "I overthink. I protect too much. I feel guilty when I want things for myself." "I know," he whispered. "I'm scared all the time." "I'll stay close when you are," he murmured. She looked up at him, tear-streaked. "What do you not like about me?" He smiled a little, brushing her cheek. "You don't let anyone help you. You think it's strength, but it's pride. I want to be the man you lean on, not just the man you thank afterward." She smiled through her tears. "And what do you like? Your laugh when you're pretending not to smile, the way you correct the world with kindness, your faith, your loyalty, your eyes when you talk about your mother. I want to meet her." Nihal froze. "You do," she whispered. "I do," he said. "Let's go to Cairo. Let me meet the woman who shaped the woman I want to share my future with." Nihal gasped softly, overwhelmed. "Leave what's here," Taiho continued, still holding her. "Come with me to Korea. Let's build something. Let's discover what the future wants to give us. Together." She nodded slowly, wiping her tears, breath shaky but full of awe. "I'll tell her," she whispered. "Mama, I'll call her now. She'll want to meet you, but you have to be gentle." I'll be nothing less, Taiho smiled. Let's get a visa. 1 hour later, Taiho began filling out his travel form. Nihal stood on the balcony, phone pressed to her ear. Mama, she said softly, there's someone I want you to meet. Someone I think might be a beginning. And far across the sea, in the heart of Cairo, her mother closed her eyes and whispered, Ya Allah, make him good.